Hello and welcome to this best of 3 series between Berserk and Maximillionare in the Warhammer League. Be sure to like and subscribe for more games and let's get into it. This time we have currently it is 1-0 for Berserk and we have a Grand Cathay into Vampire Counts matchup on Dunes of Cain again. So the way that the maps worked, they had a selection of 3 maps, and they also had map bans. So they did pick these maps multiple times. In the next one, we will probably have fixed maps, so just so that we have a higher pool of maps that are being played, so that we just don't see the same maps every single time. But let's break down the armies. Oh my god. So we have peasant horsemen that are 6. I don't understand this extra chevroning stuff, honestly. I am very much interested to see if it matters. But yeah, this is crazy amount of chevroning units, more than any of the Western players actually ever do, pretty much. I mean, Western, like half of this is Eastern European bloc anyway. But currently, 2 peasant horsemen, the compass with its bound spells, like you get these for free, Celestial Lightning, Celestial Comet, which are pretty good, and he's also playing the amp style, right? So he has both the Astromancer and another Astromancer with some spells, and he has, damn, that's a lot of spells, Comet of Cassadora, Uranins, Harmonic, and he has another Celestial Lightning and Celestial Comet here. Oh, he's on a compass too. Oh, that's pretty cool. This is like a super amped build, which makes sense, but I don't know why he didn't take stuff like Wind Blast, right? If you're gonna max out on magic inside of your game, like clearing out random garbage, which is like crypt ghouls that are unarmored and like zombies and like cairn wraiths and stuff. This is like prime territory for overamped wind blasts, right? So I don't know why he didn't just take a Wind Blast caster, because again, he has harmonic convergence. Why? Like I assume to win like an air duel between some units, but outside of this, I think it is definitely a mistake to not bring this. But yeah, he's gonna play like a small box with his compass, which will provide the harmonies and the bonus amp, and yeah, that is pretty much the game plan. Just spam out a bunch of spells. Also, the Astromancer on a Moonbird is pretty good. Because he has the Moonflare ability, so it's like a small vortex that he can do on top of let's say either a blob or let's say a unit of crypt ghouls, and then they can just be basically cleared out. So on the side of Max, we have a bunch of crypt ghouls there to capture the objectives. The main way that Cathay usually loses in games is basically getting triple capped or not being able to get on the points. So we'll see if that comes to fruition in this game. We also have just a Necrac Vampiric Lord, which is interesting again to me. He is definitely banking on a lot of Spirit Leech and summon spells. Like you have 7 summons with Raise Dead, which is crazy, and invocations. But it is quite weird to me that he didn't go for the Vampire Lord that has Storm of the Night. Because you know that in some way there is going to be a lot of flying from the side of Cathay, and bringing like a Storm of the Night caster is just so much money. You can so easily get so much value out of it. Outside of this, we have just a Cairn Wraith, a triple Cairn Wraith, because he knows that there is a very limited amount of magic damage on the entire roster of Grand Cathay, and they also have like very low armor piercing. Like that's another type of problem that they have. But literally, this is it. Like this is the difference for it. If he doesn't blob with these Cairn Wraiths and doesn't die to, let's say, a Comet or the Uranins, he will have a great time because he just could get these super expensive units cleared by something like a just a Wind Blast. Other than this, we have 2 corpse cards, 1 lodestone, 1 normal one, and then just zombies, the tide, and yeah, we already mentioned the crypticals. So let's see how this plays out. Onyx Crowman, super good unit. They are insanely good in fighting inside of the air. They could probably even beat a Vargeist if they are summoned. So he is trying to fully dominate the air and then pick off anything that is on the ground that he can just randomly charge. Let's say like Crypticals. Like they're gonna do pretty well. The Crypticals will fight back, but it will not be an even match. Or, honestly, it might even be pretty good for the Crypticals. Especially if they even get hit once with from the can rates, they're just gonna get frostbitten and then tied down, right? So this might actually happen. But as we said, there is air domination now, and there is nothing to contest the air domination. So there isn't a Storm of the Night that can just catch the Lord and have it fight. But the Moonbird caster actually has a lot better stats. Like he has more melee defense, right, than the other guy. But the undead have both healing, like a lot of healing, as well as Spirit Leech. So one of the casters will eventually die, and this is what he can do. If there is not enough things that are basically there, what he can do is just land. And there is one of the Moonbirds' Moonflare. This is a huge damage ability on stuff that is like very weak to damage, that is just reliant on their Fizz Res with 0 armor. As you can see, it literally 60% and almost 50 to 60% HP off a unit with one of the charges. Like he did amazing so far. 700 value right out the gate is super good. And this is a standard thing from the side of Cathay. The good side, the how they should be playing this is basically get one objective, be 100% sure that you're not going to lose to a triple cap and just get stuffed back, and then work from there. And this map really plays well into it, especially because of these two pillars. It's kind of difficult to do a full surround and to go into the backline of your opponent and deny their reinforcements because they're so slow. So this is, again, pretty well done. And he actually is super focusing this Astromancer on the Moonbird, right? He is 50% HP already, and he's fighting the White Kings, but the White Kings are no slouches themselves. They can just fight back. And again, they have regeneration, or are gonna get like super healed constantly, right? So they kind of don't care about you hitting them there. There's the Empress's Crowman. Empress's Crowman have the Nungao grenades. So if they go over some unit that is like, oh, they are setting up for a bombardment on the cairn rates here. If we turn on the unit outlines, this is gonna be a brutal bombardment, right? Yeah, they're perfectly lined up for the bombardment. Oh my god, even the camera shaking. Damn. Damn, that's like 30% damage from just one ability use. And they have another one up, especially when the undead blob, which they do tend to do, they're just gonna eat it more, even more from them. The peasant horsemen kind of being annoying just in the back line. They're trying to pick up something that is going to be summoned, but they kind of don't have the DPS, honestly, to kill something. And another moon flare going down the cairn rates, man. Like 50-60% HP, basically getting them to crumble inside of their entire formation. That is so well done from Berserk on Grand Cathay. But he is creating his little box here, right? He has his little Celestial Guard, has his little Peasant Long Spearman, and now is getting the Archers. This is kind of a weird position for the Archers, though. They're kind of exposed. They don't have any protection from their own box. They got an attack command on these specific Crypt Cores, which is, again... Oh! There's a Comet, or probably the Celestial Comet, probably not even the proper one, right? From these guys. Let's see. Yeah, it was the Celestial Comet that fell down. Didn't do too much to the zombies. Like, these guys don't care. They're 200, and you just brought them to 50% HP. Literally, who cares? The Empress's Crowmen, and generally the Crowmen, are super good also against the cairn rates because they have magic damage, right? So they literally go through all of the Fizz Res of the cairn rates, and the cairn rates just rely on that Fizz Res to keep themselves alive. And here, there was a potential for a surround with the Crowmen. Oh, that was a miss. Swing and a miss. But there, we take those still. There is potential. So, the Crowmen and the two peasant horsemen tried to pick off a cryptcore. They did a pretty good job for it, but they got caught. And crowmen are actually kind of like the same as the demonic units, so they actually disintegrate. They don't crumble from this. These, oh no, we just saw, oh my god, they're all dead. They are dead. It killed all of their models. Oh no. That was a double scabs crit from the double white kings. Basically deleted that unit. They insta shattered. They didn't stand a single chance there. But yeah, that is what happens to a caster unit, to a ranged unit that has no armor against white kings, man. That is just how it goes. Again, he's casting these comets. I'm guessing just to use them, because I don't know how worth it is to do the casts of a freaking comet on a zombie unit. At least get your spearmen and stuff inside of the grind. And he's now falling fairly far behind when it comes to the units. And another great Nangya grenade from the Empress's Crowman onto again the cairn rates. And imagine if he had, instead of the comets, or not instead of the comets because those are bound, but instead of the what is it called? The chain light, the celestial lightning, not the celestial lightning, the actual spell, Uranus Thunderbolt. Instead of Uranus Thunderbolt, imagine if he had just a Wind Blast, like super amped Wind Blast, 5 or 6 WOM, just kills this unit instantly. Like they just die. And instead, he's using bound spells that should be saved for blob fighting on the non-blob. And we actually have a Mortis engine coming in. So let's do a small analysis here. So there's one compass right here that used one bombardment, one comet. And there's a huge mass of both flying units that are still dominating and a couple of horsemen and Jade Lancers that is in the back line. But the problem is, there's a lot of units here. Celestial Dragon Guard are 1,000 each, right? So this is a 1,000 unit. This is also, I think, a 1,000 unit. There's 2,000 not trying to push this objective. And there isn't much that these guys are afraid of on the back objective, right? So he could technically just either send the compass or send the Dragon Guard to the middle point to get like bonus passive and just have something that's like very near here to support. But he is finally starting to push in on this objective, and he also has Nangao grenades and Iron Hail Gunners, 2 of them actually, coming in to support this objective. So the main line fighting is going to be if he can snipe the Mortis engine and also capture this objective fast enough to not lose out on points. Because I feel like over time, he is going to outgrind the undead. Unless something like comes out from here and just compromises all of the shooting, right? Because are you really going to get through the Celestial Dragon Guard, the Peasant Horseman, and another Peasant Spearman, right? There's just enough DACA here to defend. Like, he still does have the Scabs crit. Oh, he actually doesn't have more Scabs crits. He used all of the Scabs. Oh, that is so smart from Berserk, actually. He waited until all of the Scabs crates are actually used before he summoned out the... But how did this happen? Is this a bug? I swear I just looked at this and it said 0 charges, right? So it must have been... it must be bugged out. Or at least in the replay it must be not properly showing. Because he doesn't have Wind of Death. That was definitely a Scabs crit that just crumped those guys. But yeah... the problem now here is that there's nothing to stop these white kings. There's no mass here, right? And we actually have hex rates also coming in, as we said. If there is something to come from here to compromise, and oh no, this is such a terrible blob for Berserk. There are just 2 Nungao grenade and a Hail Gunner just getting charged. And there are Onyx Crowmen trying to help out, which they're gonna get, again, they're gonna do perfectly well against the cairn rates or the hex rates, because these guys rely on their Phys Res and they have 0 armor. These guys have magic damage. But what is there to actually kill the White Kings? Where are the lawnmows? Where is the Moonbird? The Moonbird hero actually died in the meantime to Spirit Leech. So this is just a bunch of like units that can come in and grind, especially the Cairn rates, that can just grind against Spearmen all day and fight it out. And there's nothing to stop the White Kings in the backline. They can both bully the Lord Magistrate, and they can just be annoying and stop from the Iron Hills from actually shooting here. And on this side, there's just a huge blob fight with the Mortis Engine. Mortis Engine probably not doing much, yeah. He's just cleaning up the backline of the Peasant Spearmen and the Jade Lancers that were kind of annoying. He did almost lose his Lord to fighting the Moonbird character, but there's still Invocation. He is almost heal capped here, which is, again, fine for him. He's not going to die to Croman, most likely, unless he missed micros here. But yeah, these White Kings are now the main problem of the entire game. Like, there's nothing to stop them. There's no mass to kill them, and there's no special characters that have like a very high dueling stats that can actually get them. Oh, he actually resummons the Astromancer on the Moonbird. That's actually pretty good, because the Astromancer regains his Moon Flares, so he can again bully the Cairn rates in this type of blob here, and he can also both hunt down the Vampire Lord and hunt down the White Kings in the blob. So as long as he goes and actually does that. This was also kind of a problem because this was his main caster with Uranins, Comet, and Harmonic. So losing him here, yeah, you can see that he's now spamming out spells constantly, right? Because he knows that he needs to use the wand that was conserved over the time that the Astromancer was dead. Hex rates running in the backfield, but getting caught up in Croman. And yeah, Max got full ghost army in this game. He literally went all in on ghosts, and unfortunately Berserk literally went all the magic damage he could, except for the one spell that could have also like swung this game a lot around. But here's the problem that we talked about at the start. Even though he is tied up on value, this is not accounting for healing, he is now even losing in the value trade. You never want to be the same at the same level of value trading with the undead. Why? Because that means they just healed like 3k value more than you did, right? And he's also, because of the double cap for the entire game, he never got onto the main objective, and just now these Celestial Dragon Guard are getting into a fight. This is 1k unit that never got to fight anything inside of this game. But to be fair, I don't think it would have mattered. It is just not enough grind units, and all the shooting got easily compromised by the White Kings, and the Moonbird character also died. So this is kind of a... even though he did have a very good idea of the build, I think just one small addition, which was double Wind Blast on the Astromancers to clear out the chaff, would have actually kind of made the game more even, I feel like. Let's check out some values. So, as expected, Onyx Crowman, because so many spooky, scary ghosts were here, they did super amazing well. This is the Moonbird character. He did very well. This guy was there just to do the amp alongside the compasses. So he's just chilling. And yeah, Dragon Guard basically did nothing. The grenades did nothing. Oh, the Iron Hill Gunners actually did pretty well in this game. Even though they got insta-killed by some stuff, I think he had this Peasant Archer basically to bait out Scab's Crate, honestly. If you're thinking about it, it would make sense. Because this is like the cheapest thing that you can bait a Scab's Crate with. Because Max is probably not going to ever use a Scab's Crate on like the Spearman. He doesn't care. He can grind for days into the Spearman. But all of the shooting is actually the things that he wants to compromise. So I think he basically had this specific archer to bait it. Yeah, let's check out the ghosts. Yeah, spooky scary ghosts got crumped by the Moonbird character with his moon flares, and the Lord actually did very well. Nice. Nice. Because of the Spirit Leech, the fighting that he did in the air, basically. And yeah, that's it. Hex rates, again, swing and a miss. Good try. If there weren't as many Crowmen, if it wasn't a magic build in such a way, but you kind of do expect that, especially on this map, like, what is Cathay gonna do except, like, either magic or box with, like, a bunch of shooting, but a bunch of shooting just doesn't work anymore. So I would just go for a magic build, honestly, like he did. And yeah, Crypt Chorus don't care if they don't pay for themselves. They're just there to tarp it. And yeah, pretty cool and interesting matchup, honestly, between these two players. So 1-1 series is tied. I'll see you in the next one.